Thank you for joining this training on the introduction to the employability skills process. This pre-recorded webinar provides an introduction to the employability skills process. It is intended to be viewed by the service years program staff pre-service. We believe that service year programs are well positioned to support skills development and attainment for their core members, but may need more support to identify specific skills that are necessary for post-service pathways, with particular attention to identifying skills that are commonly cultivated during service years to achieve the service intervention, incorporating strategies to enhance these skills and new skills development and attainment during service, aligning skills attainment to labor market trends and in-demand sectors where applicable. It's important to acknowledge that all of us, whether just starting out in our careers or having many years of work experience, need support in building certain skills. The goal here is to provide a level of transparency around the skills employers value and the ways in which core members can build as many of them as possible. Core members should also be able to articulate their strengths and areas for growth through this process, which will help them prepare for job searches, applications, and interviews after the service year experience. You will be an important part of their journey and story, and you may find the inventory and accompanying rubrics helpful with others you supervise now or in the future. When it comes to the skills needed for career success, you may often hear them referred to as hard and soft skills. For the purposes of this project, the terms technical and professional skills are used to give them equal weight, because professional skills are just as, if not more important than technical skills. Professional skills are skills that will most likely be used in any job or work situation, making them transferable to many contexts. We opted to focus on professional skills because there are too many industries to focus on specific technical skills, skills like coding, construction, graphic design, etc. Because some of the professional skills identified have technical skills embedded, for example, communication includes email, which is more technical, we decided to use the umbrella term of employability skills. Employability skills are the skills service year core members will learn and enhance during their year of service. These 8 skills represent common skills that cut across multiple industries and align with labor market trends and needs. Since there are too many industries and service experiences to identify common technical skills, we've opted to focus on specific skills that will set core members up for success, regardless of their career path. These skills are communication, customer service minded, teamwork and collaboration, organization and attention to detail, work ethic, information literacy, innovative thinking and problem solving, and work etiquette. The toolkit contains detailed information about each of the skills and how they show up in day-to-day situation and interactions. The employability skills process is set up in parts that align to specific timing, pre-service and throughout service. The process can be thought of as a roadmap for when and how to interact with the tools. The roadmap is as follows. Part 1, pre-service and onboarding guidance. Program staff and core members will become acquainted with the suggested process of identifying, assessing, and discussing skills. During this time, you will be introduced to the process, what we are doing now, and given time to review all of the tools in the toolkit. Part 2, baseline survey, baseline inventory. Core members will complete the employability skills inventory based on their understanding of the skills they possess. During this time, they are building off their pre-existing assets and strengths, what they are bringing to their service year experience, and how to leverage their assets to strengthen new skills. Core members will bring the results of their assessments with them to their first group session and one-on-one meeting. Because they will be building off pre-existing assets and strengths, it's important they complete the asset-based growth assessment tool prior to completing the employability skills inventory. Part 3, coaching through one-on-one and training sessions. Program staff and supervisors will engage in coaching conversations with core members about their skills. The first conversation will be about getting to know the core members, their skills, and their assessments based on the core members' assessments. Later conversations will center on intentionally guiding core members in skill development. Part 4, rubrics. Program staff and core members have access to rubrics describing each of the 8 employability skills in detail. The rubrics provide concrete details about each skill and common language to use when discussing skill development. The goal of the rubrics is to make coaching conversations and feedback sessions easier because you will all be working with the same language and expectations for skill attainment. Part 5, tracking growth. At check-ins and training sessions throughout the year, core members will evaluate progress on their goals related to skill development and seek feedback from service year program staff. Part 6, end of year inventory review. At the end of the service term, core members will retake the employability skills inventory to assess their growth from the beginning of the service term. They will identify the new skills and talents they have gained and describe how they have developed the assets they brought with them to the service year. They will also participate in an end of service session focused on transferring skills and assets to life after service. The remainder of this introduction gives you a more detailed overview of the tools associated with the employability skills process. Pre-service is a chance for you to become acquainted with the employability skills tools. We suggest you review everything in detail to familiarize yourself with the process, in particular the rubrics and the inventory. During onboarding, program staff should focus their efforts on building relationships with core members. You should also set appropriate expectations and, as much as you can, establish an environment where mistakes are part of the process of learning. Here are some specific ways to use the onboarding tools to support you. In the roadmap and session guides, you will see the skills inventory core members will complete. Consider taking it yourself to see where you land on assessing your own skills. This will help you to put yourself in the shoes of the core member so you can better assist them if they need it. It will also give you a chance to reflect on these areas yourself, so you can share your own process with core members during the one-on-one check-in. Sharing anecdotes from your own experiences will help core members to better understand the skills and continue to support you in building meaningful relationships with core members. Real learning and development happens when you are in an environment that allows you to take chances, make mistakes, and learn from your experience. Foster a culture of belonging where core members feel safe to acknowledge their professional development needs and can ask for help. As you set expectations with the core member, share with them how you like to serve and work. Do you like a lot of communication? Or do you prefer they work independently and come to you only if they are stuck? Do you prefer email to verbal communication or vice versa? Share any information that will help the core member work effectively with you and ask them what their preferences might be. The baseline inventory will give core members a chance to identify the skills they bring to the table. Become familiar with the skills and the proficiency indicators. Core members will be completing this inventory during their onboarding, so they may need additional support in making the connections needed to appropriately assess where they are with a particular skill. At this stage, the tool is meant to be a conversation starter, a way for you to get to know core members and understand a little more what they know and where they would like to grow. You are the best person to help them make the connection from their pre-existing skills to what is needed for success during their service year. Share your insights and wisdom about your industry while you get to know them better. You should ask probing questions related to how they have assessed themselves. Maybe you have already noticed that they are great email communicators, yet they have rated themselves as emerging in that skill category. Probe a little to help them assess themselves as accurately as you can at this point. Group in one-on-one sessions throughout your time together will help refine these initial assessments. To help you have the most effective coaching and one-on-one sessions and training sessions, you will find check-in templates and session guides containing agendas, facilitator notes, and pre-recorded webinars to help with key topics related to skills development and attainment. As you utilize, adapt, and adjust the tools, here are a few tips and tricks that will help you throughout implementation. As you get to know the core members and have them work on specific projects and tasks, listen for understanding, then provide concrete feedback based on what you have observed. Focus on specific actions and behaviors you are seeing related to the skills. Avoid making judgments about a core member's ability. Focus on what you are observing related to the skills and keep the language neutral. For example, you and I have discussed focusing on organization and attention to detail as part of your skill development plan. You're doing a great job double-checking your reports for mistakes, but I did notice that your reports are not easy to find. How are you organizing them in our shared drive? Connecting feedback to agreed upon goals in previous discussions will help feedback sessions be as effective as possible. If you notice a core member exhibiting a skill, let them know in the moment what you see. This is especially helpful if you notice a core member do something well that they might have identified as a growth area for themselves. Reinforcement will support growth. If you are not able to provide feedback in the moment, write down what you noticed, when and in what context. You can bring your notes to your next check-in or group session so you don't forget to mention it. We have provided rubrics for each one of the 8 skills we have identified as most common across industries. Why? Because we wanted to be as specific as we could regarding what mastery of each skills look like. This brings that level of transparency we discussed earlier to conversations about skills and gives common language to use when giving and receiving feedback. The rubrics are your guide on how to rate the core member on the skills they already possess and the skills they are building. It's important to note that they serve to inspire discussion and not an evaluative tool. In other words, you are not using the rubrics to make hard and fast judgments about the core member's abilities. You are using the rubrics to come to a mutual decision around what the core member and you feel best describes their skills. Once you and the core member come to a decision around the language that best describes their levels, then you and the core member can engage in a dialogue around how they can enhance those skills. The rubrics also provide common language to make feedback conversations less about the person and more about the actions that demonstrate proficiency. Even with detailed rubrics and examples, there will be discussions needed to understand each of the skills, how they apply to the context you are in, and how core members should think about their proficiency with the skill. Some assessments will be straightforward. For example, I've never written a report, so I will rate myself as emerging in that area. Some assessments will be more challenging. For example, I love public speaking and connecting with others, but I need more help with written communication. Am I emerging, developing, or proficient? The rubrics are only tools that are meant to be discussion starters, a way into a discussion of skills and where growth, development, and training may be needed. There is no right or wrong way to use them. At the beginning of service, allow core members to describe the skills they think they have and explain why they think they have them. As you build relationships, you can begin to validate their assessments or push them to think a little bit differently. You have to trust what you observe, what you know is needed in the service project, and what core members share as their goals. As mentioned earlier, draw attention to skill development throughout the service year. It's not necessary to wait for one-on-one discussion time to acknowledge skill development. If a core member demonstrates growth in a skill that they have been working on, mention it in the moment it is happening. Reinforcement of growth is always helpful. These acknowledgements can take the form of in the moment shout out or jotting down what you've observed when you observed it and the context of the situation. These tactics support tracking growth. There are two other times when focusing on skill development would be helpful, and they are during project kickoff and project debrief. For the purposes of this curriculum, we define a project as a collection of tasks that lead toward the completion of a body of work. A project could be the development of an operations manual, the creation of a database, the designing of a tutoring curriculum, the completion of a phase of a building project, a series of interviews with community members, or a myriad of other projects. As you assign core members projects, we have provided tools to help with identifying and noting skills at the project kickoff and reflecting upon skill growth at the project debrief. The purpose of the end of the year meeting is to assess and discuss core members' employability skills development during the service year. Core members will recomplete the inventory to see how they have progressed. They should bring their first completed inventory and their current one to this meeting. Here are just a few questions you can ask to facilitate reflection and discussion and prepare participants for next steps. Tell me about your progress. What skills have grown? Let's compare the two inventories. Were you surprised by anything? From the inventory, are there skills where you rated yourself as proficient or advanced that you had previously rated as emerging or developing? But we know the 8 employability skills only tell part of the story. Depending on your industry and focus, there will undoubtedly be other key skills you will need core members to focus on developing during their year of service. We suggest you add additional skills that are vital to your industry. The S2 training session, Creating Rubrics, is an optional session that we recommend you listen to if you're considering adding additional employability skills to your program curriculum. The session will help guide you through that process of developing rubrics for those additional skills. For now, we'll discuss some considerations and guiding questions to help you determine if you should add employability skills to your core members' programming. If you are a program focused on education and youth development, you may want to add in additional skills related to your mission, vision, and core values. You could add skills like teaching, instruction, curriculum design, or trauma-informed practices, knowledge of adverse childhood experiences. Or if you are a program focused on affordable housing or homelessness, you could add general construction or budgeting. There are countless other skills you could add. So here are some guiding questions and thoughts to help you add additional skills to the list. When you think of your organization, its mission and what it does and what it aims to do, what are the key skills that come to mind? Are those skills represented in the 8 we have identified? If not, note those skills. Identify the key roles in your organization and think about what people in those roles need to be successful. Compare those skills to the employability skills, and if they are not present, add them. If you have job descriptions that you can easily access, review them to analyze the types of skills that are mentioned. Are there patterns? Are there skills that are vital to the success of your organization? If so, add them. Analyze the list of additional skills you have identified and whittle them down to the most important. You don't want to add an unlimited number of skills, so try to whittle down your list to 3 to 5 additional skills. For your consideration, the next 2 slides offer a list of commonly acquired skills related to service year industries that are additional to the 8 employability skills we have selected. This list may help you identify additional skills you'd like to highlight. Here are additional considerations. If you add skills to the list, we recommend you create some sort of rubric for your skills, again, to support transparency around what success looks like. We have provided an additional optional pre-recorded webinar that provides guidance around creating your own rubric. Thank you for completing this overview. We have provided you with tools, resources, guidance to help you in creating transformational service year experiences for not only the core member, but also for you as program staff.